Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week, we have a new PlayStation State of Play. The first trailer of the State of Play kicked off with a man lying face down in a muddy forest, and then stepping through the mud with great reluctance. This is Baby Steps, a new title from Bennett Foddy, creator of Co-op and Getting Over It, and he's partnered with a team that includes the creators of Ape Out. As the protagonist, you will attempt to traverse a complex landscape, but you don't quite have the skills to succeed, and every step along the way is an effort. It appears that you'll be controlling your legs independently from each other, much like you had to do in Co-op. The game is coming in summer of 2024. Following this trailer, a showcase for Roblox on PlayStation aired. Of course, this is an announcement that we looked at last week, so it makes sense to get a spot in this month's State of Play. Then a new trailer confirmed a Ghostbusters VR game, known as Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, which is coming to PSVR 2 on October the 26th. Next was a trailer for Resident Evil 4's VR mode, which announced the release window of winter 2023. Also revealed by Capcom was Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways, a new base game DLC chapter, starring Ada Wong. The adventure depicts what Ada gets up to while Leon is progressing through the main events of the game, and Ada and Wesker will also be added to the Mercenaries mode. Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways and the Mercenary mode editions are coming on the 21st of September. Separate Ways is a paid DLC which will cost $10, whereas Ada and Wesker will be added to the Mercenaries mode in a free update. Next up, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora got a fresh new trailer. In this game, you will play as a Na'vi that was kidnapped by the RDA and taught how to fight in their ways, before escaping and having to learn the ways of the Na'vi to help them defeat the RDA. The game is launching on the 7th of December, 2023. Following Avatar, a new trailer for the upcoming Ghost Runner 2 aired. This game continues the fast-paced action of its predecessor with frantic fights and plenty of tough challenges. It's out on the 26th of October, 2023. And a demo is available now. This was followed by a brief interlude which showcased the Deep Earth Collection, which is new controller and console cover plates for the PlayStation 5, which have a metallic finish and come in volcanic red, cobalt blue, and sterling silver. Helldivers 2 appeared next with a new trailer showcasing co-op action gameplay. Players will be able to travel together to take down the game's many alien hordes. The trailer depicted players strategizing a team-based attack and coming out victorious. The game launches on the 8th of February 2024, and pre-orders open on the 22nd of September. Next up, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 appeared, with a fresh showcase guided by creative director Brian Intihar. This new look at the upcoming game revealed that players will be able to switch between both Miles and Peter smoothly in the open world. As with its predecessor, your journey will be littered with a number of minigames and side quest activities, all helping you hone your abilities and build out the skills of both Spider-Men. Some quests will be exclusive to Miles and some will be exclusive to Peter. Marvel Spider-Man 2 will also feature 60 collectible suits and up to 200 possible customization options. It will launch for PS5 on the 20th of October. After that, they announced Tales of Arise is getting a new DLC chapter, Beyond the Dawn, on November the 9th, 2023. This was followed by a trailer for Honkai Star Rail, which is coming to PlayStation 5 on the 11th of October, 2023. A new trailer for the upcoming multiplayer shooter Foam Stars then followed. We saw this game in Summer Games Fest this year, and it's essentially PlayStation's version of Splatoon. It will have an open beta running from the 29th of September to the 1st of October before its full release in early 2024. Closing the State of Play was a new trailer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth with a cinematic reveal showing off Chocobo and Electric Segway traversal, as well as fresh combat. It also showed off Cloud's quest to take down Sephiroth, whilst also hinting at them temporarily teaming up. The Golden Saucer location was also shown off, which will feature a large variety of minigames, including a fighting minigame, featuring blocky graphics resembling the original Final Fantasy VII, as well as Chocobo racing. Zach Fair also made an appearance, as well as Vincent Valentine, and we finally got a release date for the game. It's coming to PS5 on the 29th of February, 2024. PlayStation's State of Play wasn't the only recent showcase, as there was also a Nintendo Direct, which begun with Splatoon 3's second wave DLC expansion, Side Order, which is available as part of the game's expansion pass, but will also be sold separately. Splatoon 3's Side Order will be available next spring. We also had Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door HD, a remaster of the original 2004 release. We did not get a ton of information outside of updated visuals and the fact it will be out next year on the Nintendo Switch. Next up was a remake for the 2004 Mario vs Donkey Kong. The reveal trailer not only showed off gameplay but confirmed local co-op as well. Then F-Zero made an appearance as F-Zero 99 was announced. It's a Battle Royale style racing game that also supports the SNES wireless controller. F-Zero 99 is out now. but is exclusively available to those who hold an active Nintendo Switch Online subscription. Then Nintendo unveiled the Princess Peach game that they had previously announced without its title. Princess Peach Showtime is the name of this game, and Nintendo also gave us a new look at the gameplay for it. According to Nintendo, the gameplay varies depending on which transformation Peach takes. Princess Peach Showtime is out on March the 22nd, 2024. The original Tomb Raider along with Tomb Raider 2 and 3 are also getting the remastered treatment, out on February 14th, 2024, on the Nintendo eShop. The remaster collection will have the option for players to toggle between the updated visuals and the original polygon look for some retro flair. Updated visuals aside, the remasters will also include expansions and secret levels for each game, and next up was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which gave us confirmation that this remaster will arrive next summer on Nintendo Switch. Ubisoft then provided another look at its upcoming Prince of Persia game, The Lost Crown. The latest installment in Ubisoft's dormant franchise was announced in June during Summer Games Fest. This 2D action platformer is slated to launch on January the 18th, 2024, and is being developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, the developer behind Rayman Legends. Then we got another look at Super Mario RPG Remake, which was announced at the previous Nintendo Direct showcase. The latest trailer showed another look at the gameplay. Super Mario RPG Remake is still coming out on November the 17th, 2023. And then next up was Trombone Champ, the rhythm game where you use a trombone, as it's finally coming to Nintendo Switch. Trombone Champ originally came out last year exclusively to the PC, and became an indie darling for its unconventional gameplay in its genre. Alongside a port coming to Nintendo Switch, we also learned that the Switch version of Trombone Champ will take advantage of the gyro controls, or you can use the Joy-Con's IR motion sensor to play the game. Another PC exclusive that's now making its way onto the Nintendo Switch is Dave the Driver, which will be arriving on October the 26th. We also got our first look at the next wave of Mario Kart 8 DLC, out this holiday. Wave 6 of the Bolster Course Pass introduces a new racing track, Daisy Circuit, from Mario Kart Wii. In addition, there's also going to be 4 new races: Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, Pauline and Peachette. Nintendo then provided another cinematic trailer for Detective Pikachu Returns. The latest trailer focused on how other Pokemon will aid Detective Pikachu and Tim on their adventure, such as Darmanitan, who can smash rocks for the duo when it launches on October the 6th. Next up was the announcement for Horizon Chase 2, making its way over to the Switch, originally released a little over a year ago on PlayStation, PC and Xbox, and mobile devices. Horizon Chase 2 is finally out now on Switch. Then we had Another Code Recollection, which is a new compilation that features Another Code 2 Memories, aka Trace Memory, and its sequel, Another Code R. The latter marks the first time that the game is releasing in the North America region. Another Code 2 Memories originally released back in 2005 for the Nintendo DS, while its sequel, Another Code R, released 4 years later on the Nintendo Wii. Both games will be enhanced for the Nintendo Switch, and the collection will be out on January the 19th, 2024. Square Enix then announced that its sci-fi fantasy RPG series, Saga, is getting a new installment, subtitled Emerald Beyond. It arrives on Nintendo Switch sometime in 2024. Alongside the announcement, the trailer also showed different playable characters that you will be able to select, such as a witch, a songstress mech, and a puppet master. The Vanillaware then unveiled their next project that they're working on, a tactics RPG called Unicorn Overlord. The game is set to release on March 8th, 2024. The official summary for the game notes that Unicorn Overlord will allow players to cultivate an army with over 60 distinct characters throughout the 5 nations. Then, after a few delays, the Suikoden's spiritual successor, Aiden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, has a new release date, April the 23rd of 2024. This 2D RPG was announced back in 2020, with funding for the game conducted on Kickstarter. It was supposed to launch in October 2020 before being delayed due to the COVID pandemic. Nintendo also showed off another look at WarioWare Move It, the game that was originally announced at the June 2023 Nintendo Direct and was previously confirmed to have over 200 microgames. It will be available on November the 3rd, 2023. That was everything in the Nintendo Direct. However, in other news, No Man's Sky has been having its biggest month in the last few years, according to Hello Games founder Sean Murray, despite competition from the long-awaited Starfield, another sandbox that of course ticks all the same boxes. This is across all platforms, but on Steam alone it's also had its best month since September 2021, and one of its best months overall. It's worth noting that the largest update of the year arrived in late August, followed by a new expedition at the start of this month, so both of these things are major contributing factors A narrative is of course already forming that this boost is due to disappointed Starfield players migrating over to No Man's Sky, but there isn't much to actually back that up. With the launch the scale of Starfield, it's common for games with similar features to see a bump as they benefit from the increased visibility. A lot of comparisons have been made between the two, so it's only natural that lapsed players will jump back in while new ones will jump in to see what all the fuss is about. That said, there are undoubtedly some players who haven't enjoyed Starfield who are now seeking their entertainment in No Man's Sky, but the amount of players doing so are not sufficient enough to cause such an increase in player numbers on No Man's Sky. Also in the news we have Titanfall 2, which has had matchmaking problems for years even after its previous server issues were fixed. Players would still get disconnected if they had to queue for any length of time, but surprisingly an official update has appeared out of nowhere and got it working again. Players are now flooding back, with Titanfall 2 hitting a peak player count of 22,604 within 24 hours, and what's more, the featured playlist rotation has started being updated again, and weapon loadouts in the 1v1 Coliseum mode have also changed. However, in other news we have Dying Light 2, as Techland has made a change that has infuriated their fans by introducing an all-new premium currency called DL Points. Masked as a good thing for gamers, this new currency will give fans the opportunity to purchase things without even leaving the game, but at present, this is just resulting in the game being review bombed. It was stressed by Techland that this will simply streamline purchasing in-game items, and nothing more. But it does also mean that Techland will make more money on those bundles and cosmetics, stepping away from system-hosted stores on the likes of PlayStation, Xbox and Steam. Techland has already taken to Twitter to address the concerns of the community regarding this recent shift. They are already tweaking the mechanics and eliminating loopholes and flaws in the process, but it's far from a perfect solution. Despite being almost 2 years old, Dying Light 2 still boasts a solid player count, and Techland is constantly working to introduce new content updates and crossover events into the game. Also in the news we have Stig Asmussen, director of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, deciding to leave Respawn Entertainment in order to pursue other adventures. A spokesperson for the developer's parent publisher, EA, said, after careful thought and consideration, Stig Asmussen has decided to leave Respawn to pursue other adventures, and we wish him the best of luck. Veteran Respawn leaders will be stepping up to guide the team as they continue their work on Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Currently the team is working on continued support for Jedi Survivor, as well as PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports, though there is no concrete date for those releases at the moment. Stig was hired by Respawn Entertainment in 2014, following over a decade working for Sony on the God of War series. He was the lead environment artist on the original God of War, and then became the art director on God of War Chains of Olympus and God of War 3. However, in other news, Square Enix's stock has fallen 30% from its peak this year, wiping almost $2 billion off the company's market value. The Japanese publisher's share price reached its highest point this year in the days running up to the release of Final Fantasy XVI in June, but it closed at its lowest level since May of 2022. The slump comes after sales of the PS5 game reportedly failed to meet the high end of the company's expectations, but also follows the disappointing performance of other big-budget releases like 2020's live service flop Marvel's Avengers, support for which ends this month, and Forspoken, the debut game from Square Enix's Luminous Productions studio, which launched to lackluster sales, according to the company. In a recent report analysing Square Enix's recent downturn, anonymous employees and contractors claimed that the company is suffering from issues with its game development structure and quality control, while analysts expressed concerns about its longer-term prospects. Current and former Square Enix employees reportedly claim one of the causes of such issues is Square Enix's decision to give individual producers too much control over the scope and direction of projects. They also said games have suffered from inadequate documentation and team structure. As for our final story this week, the company behind the Unity engine, one of the major game development tools used by independent studios, has now announced a new controversial fee. Starting from the 1st of January 2024, Unity will charge developers each time a game using the engine is downloaded. The charge will begin when sales reach a threshold of $200,000 in revenue over 12 months, and 200,000 total installs. Charges will vary depending on the license in which the developer has with Unity, but will be as high as 20 cents per install. The fee has been met with unsurprising anger within the game development community. Gary Newman, creator of the hugely successful Gary's Mod, tweeted, "Unity can just start charging us a tax per install. They can do this unilaterally. They can charge whatever they want. We have to trust their tracking. Indie developer Tony Goland responded, "We pay for our pro licenses upfront, knowing that any revenue then is ours. That after 2 years of development they can just add this back-end tax of if our game happens to be successful? Nah." Unity announced the new charge on its website, referring to it as the Unity Runtime Fee, a reference to the Unity Runtime Code that executes each game on player devices, and which until now has not been monetized. This change has of course raised a lot of questions from developers, such as, do installs of the same game by the same user across multiple devices count as different installs? To which they've said, we treat different devices as different installs. We don't want to track identity across different devices. Of course, they also questioned illegitimate installs, such as pirated copies, to which they responded with, "We're not going to charge a fee for fraudulent installs or install bombing. We will work directly with you on cases where fraud or botnets are suspected of malicious intent." If you're wondering how Unity is going to be tracking the amount of installs, they say they leverage their own proprietary data model and will provide estimates of the number of times that the runtime is distributed for a given project. This estimate will cover an invoice for all platforms. This has of course led to many developers wanting to abandon Unity in favour of a different game engine. Godot in particular has been given consideration as an alternative, as it's a cross-platform free and open source game engine, but Unity has also offered some studios a 100% fee waiver if they switch over to Unity's own Level Play ad platform. The Level Play suite of tools allows you to control every aspect of your monetization strategy via in-game ads in Unity games for smartphones. With various types of ads, ad testing and analytics available to serve up commercial content, developers are encouraged to reach out to their account manager to learn more. Slay the Spire studio Mega Crit said that it will cut ties with Unity and restart its next game project on a fresh engine if Unity's plans were not completely reverted. But do keep in mind that this decision to add these fees comes from John Riccitiello, who previously, when he was the CEO of EA, famously said back in 2011 that he wanted to charge players $1 for every time they reload their guns in Battlefield. And that's all we have time for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed this week, please leave in the comment section below as always, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.